I go up in the top right, I click plus, and I choose new repository. Now, give it a new name for something you haven't used before. So I'm going to call this Mad Fun 2020. You call yours whatever you want. Type in a description. So I'm putting in the description that I want. Make sure you click the little box. Initialize with the README. That's critical. If you miss that, you'll be unhappy. And then finally, we click Create Repository. Now that I have that repository created, I have the clone download button, and I will click the little clipboard icon, which copies this title and URL to my desktop or to my computer. So now I copy that. And now we are done in the browser. For now, we're going to go back to Atom. So inside Atom, I'm going to say new window. Atom window will come up. It may have extra things open and other junk. I can just ignore them. It doesn't matter. What I care about is going under packages and choosing Platformio IDE terminal, and I will toggle that on. That gives me access to a terminal. And what I need to do is get to the desktop, which is where I want to copy the file to, or clone the file to would be the proper term. To navigate to the desktop, most likely I will be at the root user level because I started with an empty window. If I have a current project window open, then I need to type in CD, which is change directory, hit the space bar, and then right below the escape key, I'll hold down shift and hit the little squiggle mark, and that will bring me to the root level, which is where I currently am. I can see that right here where I have the squiggle showing me that's where it's going to send me. So that brings me to my root user level. And then I will type CD desktop. And then it should say my username on my computer, desktop, and then I see a $sign. And then I'll have my blinking cursor. That is what I should see. The desktop, I will type git space clone space and then paste. And when I highlighted, I must have accidentally copied that, so let me delete that. Go back over here, I'll click clone download, click on the little clipboard so it copies that location. And now I can paste. So it should say git clone, and now I should see github.com/my username/ and then the name of the repository .git. Once I've pasted that in, I will hit return on the keyboard, and I'll see that it copied those files to the desktop. The next thing that I can do is just simply close this window, and it goes away. I will then go to my desktop, and I will see there is the folder. Mad Fun 2020 has the README file in it. Now, my desktop's messy, so I have a lot of other files here, but I do need to then add to this the file that I have been working on. The file I've been working on is buried a couple layers deep. I want to grab this file right here. So I'm just going to right-click on it and copy it. I could drag, especially if I didn't have so much other junk in the way. I could drag and move things over. Now I will go to that Mad Fun. I will right-click. I will paste that item so I can see that is now there. And the reason that I need to do it in this manner is then when I drag this folder to Atom, it will open it up, and I will see it's now a project over here on the side. Now, if I don't want to drag it over inside of Atom, I could choose Open, and now I can navigate to that folder MadFun 2020 and click open, and it does the same thing. So if your screen isn't big enough to drag, you can always open the folder. Now, the key thing here is I open the folder, not the file. If I just open the file, it's going to work a little bit different. Whoop, not new file. I want to choose open. If I just open the file, file, it opens the file. I don't have access to the whole folder or the project, so I can't do the git process that I want to work with. So this is why when I choose open, I choose the folder, not the file, but the folder that contains my file. That's what's important. And now it opens up. There it is. And I can see that this file has been added to this repository. That's why it's now green instead of just being white. If it's been modified, it would be gray. So green indicates this is now a new document or new asset in this repository. So project's open. We'll see green over here indicating we added a new file. Now I'm going to click on the Git tab, bottom right corner of the screen. Pops open the Git window. There's also the GitHub package, and that toggles it as well, so you can get to it. It shows me an unstaged change. That means I've added something. Green means added. Orange means modified. Red will mean you deleted something out of your project assets. Now I click Stage All. Type a commit message. I'm going to just type in what I did. Hit Commit to Master. The final thing I will do is I will push this to my GitHub repository. So when I click push, if it's the first time you're doing it on the computer during this session, it will prompt you for your GitHub credentials, your GitHub login and password. I've done it on here before, so it remembers it, so we're in good shape. So now it's pushed that file over. Well, notice now nothing is green anymore. The file, it tells me then that file is there. What I have here matches what's in the repository. If I were to go and modify something, just going to modify a color and save that, I see how now the file turns orange, indicating that the file's been updated. So I can then stage that, add a commit message. I'll say change color, commit, push, and now we're back to white. Back onto GitHub, if I refresh the page that I'm looking at, I will see that file has been added. It also shows that I have now done my additional commits. So it shows I changed color, added a file, and then we have the initial commit when I created the repository. So my file now lives online. I'm going to pay attention to the name of the file. The file's name is madstart.html. That's going to be important in a moment. Second thing is we're going to set it up to get the Git page working so that we can see this as a live web page. To do that, I am going to click on the Settings tab up at the top. So we're in the Code tab. Far right is Settings. I will click under Settings, and I need to scroll down until I see Git Pages. Under Git Pages, I will see where it says Source, and I will choose Master Branch. And when I choose that, it scrolls me back to the top. Then I scroll back down, and now I see it gives me a URL, and it says your site is ready to be published at, and I'm going to right click on that and copy that link address. I find that's the easiest way to do it. Now I will scroll back to the top, click back on Code, and there's an Edit button on the right side of the screen. If I click on the Edit button, I have an option to put in my URL. So I will paste in that URL, but I need to tell it what page. If my document was titled index.html, I would just hit save and be done. But my file is called madstart.html, so I will type in madstart.html and then click on the save button. When I do that, I can now click on this URL and my page is live on the internet. I'm going to go back, my browser. So now it's live for the entire world to see. With the GitHub page working so we can see the site live, everything is up and running. What I'm going to do is go back into Atom. And currently in Atom, I don't have anything open. I'm going to look at the desktop. I can see that my file is now gone. So to get my file over and back to my computer now that I have the repository created, I'm going to click on the clone or download button. I'm going to clone it. So I discourage you from downloading the zip unless you just need a copy of some of the files. But if you're going to be saving and pushing back to GitHub, do not download the zip because it does not download it as a Git repository. So you can't then connect it to the existing one and push it up without a lot of headache. So I copy that, clicking on the clipboard again, same as like when we made it. And now inside of Atom in empty window, pull up my platform terminal. And now once again, I will navigate to the desktop. And then on the desktop, git clone space, paste it in. It's now there. Now I can inside of here or inside of Atom, I can open an existing file, or I can just now choose open. And it's funny that Atom remembered, hey, that's where you last were. So I'll now choose that project, choose open, and there it is. Let me get rid of the terminal. So here's the file ready to go. If I make changes to it, save that, we see the file turns orange. And I can go under Git, pull Git back up. That happens sometimes when you're working in Atom is it seems to have brain freeze. And if it doesn't do what you want, where I was trying to get the Git and it was showing up empty, quit Atom, relaunch it, and reopen your stuff, and then it seems to work. So sometimes it almost seems like Atom runs out of memory. Just, it's what Atom does. So we just fix it by quitting and relaunching. So I can now stage that, type a message, commit it, push it. Now I've updated my project. So we've created a repository. We cloned it to the desktop. We added assets to it. We then saved it, pushed that save up to our Git repository. We've made the Git page. We've been able to download a fresh copy. So when you get onto your home computer, you can just clone it to your desktop and you're good to go. And then I really think if you're working in multiple locations, it's easier to then, once you know it's safe on Git, throw away your local copy so that you know that when you're working with the most current version.